Hello and welcome to another episode of the How to CEO Show. I'm your host, Murray Newlands. In this show, we're going to be looking at 7 tips to recession-proof your company finances. When you decided to become a CEO, the world changed. You can either build an amazing company or you can crash and burn. It's possible to build an amazing company, but it's really hard. We're here to give you the knowledge, advice, the skills, and the expertise to build that amazing company. So what's happening? Well, obviously, with the outbreak of the virus, it's looking like people are going to have to stay at home a lot longer than expected. That has the huge potential to damage many industries. Everything from eating out, yes, we know that. But travel, yes, we know that. But also companies like Uber, companies like Lyft, lots of delivery companies, all kinds of small businesses are going to be wrecked. People will stop being able to pay rent. People will stop spending on all kinds of additional expenses. People will stop all kinds of different activities, and that will cause a real problem for many different companies. So as we're looking to go into recession, what are the things that you should be doing to protect your company finances? I would say number one is to look at what are the debts that your company has. What are the outstanding debts and what's the cost of those debts? If you have debts, right now, interest rates are going down, but as things play through, those debts could start to be a burden to the company. So what can you do to reduce debts immediately? Number two, what can you do to boost the company's savings? Where can you save money? And I'm talking about start saving money today to build that savings account. Are there expenses that you can cut out? What can you do to make sure you have a great savings plan? As money comes in from now on, think, how can I save that money and how can I make sure that it's not going out? And really start to manage your cash flow. One of the things that happens in a recession is that customers start to pay you more and more slowly. So you need to think about what are the terms that you're working with on your customers and make sure you understand how quickly or slowly they're planning to pay you, and also be able to work with your suppliers on that. If you have one or two big customers and they start to slow down payments, that's going to dramatically affect your cash flow as well as your savings plans. You need to be able to say, well, will I be able to stomach that? Can you do it within the cash flow that you're expecting? And if things get worse, will you still be able to do that? And how can you work with your suppliers to also manage that process? So I think, can you make sure that customers keep paying you on time? And probably how can you slow down paying your suppliers if you need to? So step 3, identify where you can make cuts and make those cuts fast. Are there items that are discretionary items that you can cut out immediately? Not a little bit down the line, but immediately. What can you cut to make sure that you're as lean as possible? It's very tempting when you go into a recession to hold on to things as usual and hope that it will turn around quickly. If things turn around quickly, you may be able to get many of those services back. But if we go into a prolonged recession and you're not able to get those things back, then the question is, that cash that you're spending now, that cash that you're burning now, you'll really need that in the future. And without that, it could be really difficult. Step 4, make sure that your company is living within its means. Make sure that if it's not profitable, if it's a startup, make sure that it gets to profitability as fast as possible. And what can you cut to make sure you get within the company to be profitable as quickly as possible. That is going to be key to you. And is there anything that you can push up um, immediate? What can you bring forward that's going to bring revenue forward so you can survive the short term and the medium term? Think about refocusing on those goals. And the next thing is to really understand focusing on the long haul. It's going to be a long haul. It can take you, when a recession hits, everything slows down. How do you survive the immediate aftermath? And then how do you get to the fact that you're going to be able to survive the long haul? How are you going to make it through these hard times? So you need to be able to cut back, start building savings, understand that it's going to get probably a lot worse than you're predicting, and think about how you're going to survive that, and work out a plan with your customers and your suppliers. Your customers still need you. Help them to understand why they need you and the value of keeping you on. And the same with your suppliers. If your suppliers realize that you're going to be an ongoing customer and you're building a plan to get through the recession, they're more likely to be more reasonable with you and help you through these hard times. Next is identify your risk tolerance. Understand where the risks are in your business. Understand what work is potentially risky. If you're supplying a lot of goods or services to smaller companies who have potentially cash flow problems coming up, do you still want to do that? The opportunity is that there's an opportunity to maybe make more money in the short term. And potentially, if you're the only supplier to them, you could make a great profit by doing that. But equally, if you're giving them credit terms, will they actually be able to afford to pay you in the end? So identify what your risk tolerance strategy is and work that out and build that actually into a business plan. Tip number 7, make sure that you really are up to date and build education and skills through these hard times, both yourself and your staff, your team members. Remember, at the end of the day, yes, there's a recession, but you need to build a great business in good times and in bad times. So make sure you are building that great business and make sure that you and your staff are skilled and up to date. Because in a recession, that's when things become hyper competitive. Every customer, every dollar counts. And so in those hard times, you need to make sure that you have a lean team, yes, and you have great cash flow, yes, but you need to make sure you have the best team that you have, make sure they stay up to date with their skills. Okay, tip 8, my bonus tip is, in a recession, a lot of people are laid off. And some amazing people come onto the market who you would never be able to hire in good times. So I would say also make sure that you have the opportunity. If you cut back a lot, you may have the opportunity to hire people, and you may be able to hire much better people in a recession than you've been able to hire when things were good, when they had more of a multitude of different jobs open to them. My next tip, I suppose I would say, is every business and business cycle goes through, and this is tip number 9, goes through different phases. At different stages in different companies, you need different people. And my tip number 9 is that during a recession, you might actually need different people, not necessarily less people, but you might need different people to the people you need in good times. So rethink about your team, rethink about who's in your team, and make sure you have a great team who are the right kind of people with the right kinds of skills to go through those hard times. I'm Mo Newlands. Thank you for subscribing to the How to CEO show. Please subscribe. If you like it, please share it with a friend. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.